What's going on, everybody? I know it has been a while since my last upload, so let's just get to the point. I'm here to upload my Templar build. A lot of people have been asking me what I'm running, so I'm going to share that with you guys. We'll start off with my skills real quick. Um, First ability, biting jabs. This is your bread and butter. This is your main DPS. I don't like wrecking blow. Not a fan of it. I like biting jabs way more. I find it as a really fun ability to use and spam. I know spam, right? Second ability is going to be your crit rush. This is your gap closer. You can run Stampede. Stampede is very good to link with biting jabs because it gives you that snare, which helps you land your biting jabs. But most people are gonna roll dodge, honestly. So I've found having that extra damage with crit rush over the last week has been much more successful. Then rally. This is your main damage buff and your heal, and then execute. If you want, if you are a big wrecking blow fan, you can swap these, but the execute is huge when doing 1vx. And then I run Radiant Aura. A lot of people run Repentance. Yes, Repentance does give you your resources back and can be very helpful if you're burning through people. If you run group play, that might be the better way to go. But if you're doing small group or solo, Radiant Aura is way better just because you get that solid 20% recovery when you're buffed. And then we do Flawless Dawnbreaker. I'm not a fan of Templar ultimates. Flawless gives you that 8%. 8%? Yeah, 8% weapon damage, plus it's a decent hitting ability. Obviously, it's not like smiting, but it does do good damage. And then our bow. We're running Poison Injection, obviously, to get that extra tick when they're below 50%. We're running Binding Javelin as a CC. We don't have much CC other than this ability and your biting jabs. So you use this, you hit them with the crit rush, you hit them with the biting jabs. We're using Caltrops. This is basically my main counter to Nightblades. If I come across Nightblades, I'll throw this down, and I'll play in it. And then Resolving Vigor, obviously, that's going to be your best heal. And then Shuffle for the 20% dodge chance and snare immunity. And then I do run Flawless on my bow bar just to increase my weapon damage. But you could swap that out and do like the radial sweep. But then we'll go over my stats real quick. Actually, yeah, we'll do stats real quick. So we'll show you unbuffed. This is unbuffed. 2400 recovery. This is on my bow, obviously. So we'll switch to my two-hand where everything happens. So almost 2600 recovery, 3400 weapon damage, almost 30,000 max stam with 20,000 health. Now, I am missing a couple pieces that I could swap out for better pieces, which I'll cover in a second. But when I'm buffed, Rally, Vigor, not Vigor, but Radiant Aura, we're at almost 3k recovery, almost 4k weapon damage. Right there, those stats, that sustain that you have with this build is insane. And you hit so hard. It is amazing. And just for people who aren't aware, I also am running the Serpent for that extra stat recovery. Now, I did do this with the weapon damage, but I was not a fan of it. The Warrior, I was not a fan of it. I was probably rocking 2200 recovery, and I was at 4100 weapon damage. So, this is much better. And I could push 4300 weapon damage with it, but the sustain just wasn't there. So, this is much better. So, definitely run the Serpent. And then I also run max health with stam recovery. So, I don't do the stam recovery, magic recovery. So, definitely max health with stam. And then my gear, we'll start off on the rings. I'm running 2 or 3 agility. So, weapon damage, stam recovery, weapon damage. Now, I have 1 arcane. Now, this is what I'm talking about where you can get a better item. You could get another robust and push that 30k max stam. And then 5-piece huntings. I have 1 V14 piece still, so that can be increased. Now, 1 Molag Kina piece. Now, this is well fitted. This obviously could be replaced for divines as well. And then 1 blood spawn. This is light. I'd like this to be medium and also divines, so I can still get some improvements. And then the weapons, I'm doing a maelstrom bow and a maelstrom great sword. So I love the sword. It goes really well with crit rush because of that bleed. And on top of that, with the bow is amazing for grinding. If you're trying to grind out champion points or do Maelstrom, you can throw volley on for that AoE. It is amazing. So those are the abilities that I'm using. Like I said, here's the food that I'm drinking, the triple pocket, 5k, and then you get 457 or stam recovery. So, and then I'm just running your straight up, alliance battle draught stam potions. I don't really need the tripods with this build because you have the sustain. You really don't even need the stamina recovery, and I've lately been running just straight up health pots just for that extra heal. And then my champion points. So we're doing 50 into the tower for that 10.5% reduced cost. We're doing 100 to Moonclave for that 25% stam recovery. That's why we have such high stam recovery. 8 into Tumbling. 30 into Bless to increase your vigor and your rally. 15 into Blade Expert just to increase your light and heavy attacks with your sword. 7 into Precise Strikes, 6 into Piercing, and 100 into Mighty. And then I got 27 into Resistance to get that 10% reduce on critical hits. 100 into Hardy, and 32 into Elemental Defender. Now this is basically to deal with your Storks. Your shield stackers who've got ridiculous stats and can stack all day. And they're going to just sit there, and burn you, especially Magic DKs too. This setup right here is going to really, really help with that sustain. Because as a Templar, you can't go invis to get out of a fight. So you really lack the ability to disengage from fighting. So that's also where the bow comes in handy, having that passive where you can roll dodge and get that speed increase. So I find this to be the best way to go as of currently in open world. Now I also do have 75 champion points, so I'm almost capped. Depending on what you guys have. Now this set, you could swap out some things if you don't have them. Like if you can't do, if you don't have the Maelstrom Arena gear yet, this is not a build you're going to want to run then. This is pretty much revolves around these two items. You don't necessarily need the bow. A Master's Bow obviously would increase this build too, just because of that 300 weapon damage. But this is the way that I like to go, because I don't have a Master's Bow. But if you don't have the Maelstrom weapons, I don't recommend two-hand and bow on the Templar. I would go sword and board for sure. And in dueling, this set does work well, but sword and board is better overall in dueling, but you'll beat the majority of the people you duel with this setup. But sword and board in duels is always going to have an advantage, just because you can get really good weapon damage with that, and that reflect for a Templar is huge. So, but this is basically my open world build. I duel with it for fun, but in 1vx it is ridiculous. You can nuke somebody down so fast, and one biting jabs rips through a Sork shields. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys have any questions, please comment below. Hit that sub button if you haven't. And I hope to see you guys on the battlefield. Peace.